The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome everyone. This is Manish. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending upon where you have logged in from. This is Manish. I am Global Vice President for Product Marketing at iVend CitiXsys, and I will be your host today and for the next, I would say, 5 days, including today. So we have a lot of people who have joined in, who have kind of registered. Thank you so much for an overwhelming response. We would still give the audience about 5-7 minutes before we really get started. Okay, and till as such time, I'll keep myself on mute. A few house checking items. I'm not sure whether I'm audible or not. So the one way you can confirm is by raising the hand icon in your GoToWebinar control panel, so that I would know whether I'm audible. Yes, thank you so much. Everybody says yes. Thank you, Anand. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you, Claudine. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you, David. Thank you, everyone. We'll just give ourselves a few more minutes before we really get started. Till at such time, I'm going to keep the phone lines muted, and once we have given everybody that kind of time, we'll get started. So thank you so much for joining, and just please bear with me for another few minutes. So, all right. I think we've given everybody enough and more time. This is 6 minutes past the hour, and let's get started. So, I understand I'm audible enough, and so the entire enablement program. Let me give a brief background as to where did we really start and what is this all about. First of all, thank you so much for an overwhelming response. Okay, we are honestly, I am certainly honored and such a privilege to present to such a large audience. So what we have traditionally been doing is all the enablement sessions used to happen in person, as in the classroom sessions. What we decided is that we will certainly have the classroom sessions, but to ensure that the classroom sessions are far more effective, we thought we'll also have a 5-day session, 2 hours every day, where we talk about the entire application in detail. The whole idea is to give everyone a kind of an overview of what the application is all about, so that when we join the classroom sessions, we are able to effectively utilize the time and the investment that everyone does. So that's the essential background. So these sessions are 5 sessions in all, Monday through Friday. We'll have one session every day, and every session will be for about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, depending upon the levels of interaction that we have. And my sincere suggestion and request is that please make the session as interactive as we possibly can. I am joined in by a team of my colleagues who would be available to answer questions as they come along. As I said, we'll try and make the entire session very, very interactive. So if you have any questions anywhere in between, you just have to raise your hand using the hand icon button, and I will mute and try and answer the question to the best of my ability. And as I said, I'm joined in by a team of panelists here. My colleague Vish is here with me. He will be more than willing to answer any questions. So with that said, let's get started. Let me first give you how these 5 days or these 5 sessions are organized. As I said, the whole objective here is to give you and everyone a, a, a detailed overview of the entire application suite. We talk about who we are and what we do. We talk about the licensing at a very generic level. And then we take a deep dive starting tomorrow, where we talk about how the application is to set up, the different transaction types, the good part of a retail solution, which is promotions and gift cards and coupons. We talk about loyalty and mobility towards the end of the session. And finally, before we close on the 5th day, before we close on Friday afternoon, I am more than confident that you would be in a position to undertake the 2 certification exams. One is pre-sale certification exam, and the second one would be the implementation phase 1 certification exam. These certifications are important for you and for your organization because they directly determine the partnership levels, the margins, etc. So the whole session would be done in a manner in which you understand the broad concepts. By the end of the 5th session, I'm more than confident, as I said, you would be in a position to able to kind of demonstrate the solution set, the entire solution set. You would be in a position to answer and address any RFP and RFIs. You would be in a position to position the solution in the market. You would certainly be able to engage an audience in trying effective positioning of iVend Retail. And possibly, depending upon the interest levels, you would also be in a position to undertake small, simple implementations for iVend Retail. The entire 5-day sessions are on and around iVend Retail DemoStack. DemoStack can be downloaded from the Knowledge portal. And if you haven't done already, my sincere request is please register on the Knowledge portal. Go to the Partner Kit page. On the left-hand side, you would be in a position to download the DemoStack. All the entire sessions from starting today onwards till the 5th day would be on and around DemoStack. Okay, we'll talk about what the DemoStack is all about, how the data is organized, how to conduct simple transactions. The entire DemoStack essentially is a single installer, single exe installer for the entire application stack, which includes, and I'll talk about that as we move along. Which includes iVend Enterprise, stores, point of sales, mobile and terminal point of sales, iVend handhelds, e-commerce, customer portal, etc. In today's session, just to ensure that you all understand as to what is the end game, so that you understand what is it that you will be able to get at the end of the 5th day, I will start by giving an introduction, who we are and what we do. While all of you know that, just to get the discussion in the context. Then I'll conduct a full cycle product demo on iVend using iVend DemoStack. The reason I'm doing that is to emphasize and impress upon the fact that you would also be able to do the same thing by the end of the 5th day. So when we end today, I would sincerely request that you go to the knowledge portal, register yourself as a solution reseller, download the demo stack. You will automatically get a license. Follow the installation manual. We have tried to make it as intuitive as we possibly can, and you should be able to install it. In any case, we have lined up the entire global support team to be available for any kind of assistance that you may require for the installation. So again, back to the agenda. The first session we talk about, as I said, overview architecture. We'll talk about the full demonstration of iVend Retail using the demo stack. I'll talk about how the demo data is organized and where the demo scripts are, how to use them. Tomorrow when we come in, we'll start by configuring the entire system. The configurations are already done, so I'll still take you through each and every step and each and every screen which is of importance and consequence for you to get started. So we talk about how to set up an enterprise, retail profile, which is one of the most important setups in the entire application. We'll talk about retail profile at length. We'll talk about store setups, price list, groups, and we'll also try and do an end of day cycle. We'll do a couple of transactions and we'll see what happens when we do an end of day cycle. And how does an end of day impact the day-to-day functioning. When we meet for this third session, we talk about the back office transactions. Essentially, all those transactions which would be performed either by the store manager at the back office or by people at the central head office location. Different kind of POS transactions to be done at the point of sale. At the point of sales, back office transactions, things like centralized purchase order, distributed good receipts, stock transfer requests, stock transfer receipts, inventory management, handheld, etc. We'll talk about that in the third session. The handheld, now we have two different variants. One, of course, is the old traditional Windows-based handheld terminal, and we also now have an Android-based handheld terminal. So we do transactions using both the. I don't have the terminals, but we'll certainly do the emulator-based transactions. The fourth session would be on and around promotions and coupons of the gift card, basically the core of any retail solution. We'll define them. We'll talk about promotions, one of my favorite topics. We'll talk about promotions. We'll talk about bonus by hierarchies, a very interesting concept. We talk about it as we move along. Even today, we talk about different types of orders, special orders, sales orders, and how are they kind of fulfilled. And finally, on the 5th day, we talk about iVend loyalty. iVend loyalty, we talk about iVend mobile point of sale, the setup and transactions. And somewhere in these 4 or 5 days, I'll talk about different business situations as to how best to use the interplay of loyalty and promotions. The two types are kind of interlinked of sorts. We'll talk about that as to how do I set up loyalty and promotions to go hand in hand. Another very interesting concept we'll talk about certainly today and certainly on the 5th day, fulfillment using mobile point of sale. The typical Amazon model, you place an order online, it goes to the central location wherever, the goods are reserved, they are allocated to a mobile point of sale, the delivery boy takes the mobile point of sale, delivers the goods, and the transaction gets completed. So that's the kind of agenda that we want to follow for the 5 days. But as I said, we first start by giving a broad overview. We talked about this agenda already. We'll talk about the broad overview of who we are and what we do. So CitiXsys iVend Retail. CitiXsys is the name of the company, iVend Retail, name of the product. We are we are headquartered out of New York City, and we have now about 10 different offices across the world. The application is more of a platform approach. iVend Retail is more of a platform approach, has its own set of APIs, has its own set of extensibility kit. Imagine it to be an SDK. and is the entire application platform is integrated to almost all standard ERPs, the entire range of SAP products, Microsoft Dynamics Business Central, both online and the cloud version, Sage 300, Sage EM, which was formerly called Sage X3. So as a solution set, it's all we have productized connectors to these different applications. The solution, as I said, being a platform approach and being very modular in nature, is by that definition extremely scalable. You could scale it from a single store with a few point of sales all the way up to hundreds of stores across multiple different geographies. It's easy to deploy and easy to maintain, and you would experience that when you try and install and configure the demo stack. It's very simple and straightforward to that effect. As I said earlier, we have now about 10 offices across the world. We've been in the business the last 7 years. About 1,500 odd customers is where we are present. The entire go-to-market, as you can well imagine, something that you already know, is through a network of channel partners. And through this network reach, we are now in over 85 countries globally, which is, I would say, I say that with a great sense of pride and humility as well, that we are, through your presence, now present literally across the world. So, as I said, the solution is more of a platform approach, and does all the good stuff that is one expects from a retail solution. Yes, it does inventory management, has loyalty programs, e-commerce, etc. But what is important, the two or three things which make the application stand out from the others is, one, its ability to manage campaigns, and that's where my entire cycle would start. Ability to manage campaigns, and a very interesting and a very nice interplay between digital passes, which is proximity-based, should I say, application, which allows retailers to send out gift cards and coupons and loyalty cards. An interplay of mobility and promotions and gift cards and coupons with loyalty programs is what makes it stand out. It's a single suite offering that makes it very different from the others. Because it's a platform approach, we are spread across multiple different verticals: electronics, apparel, footwear, opticals, sporting goods, bookstores, groceries, beer and wine stores, etc. But predominantly, the kind of challenges that we address is we allow the retailer to fulfill their omni-channel aspirations. As a solution set and as a platform approach, we ensure that the retailer is able to provide a consistent consumer experience. Not to mention the fact that the entire application, the way it is designed, it kind of follows a single stock pool of sorts. So there is the entire inventory that is visible across point of sales, across stores, across e-commerce platforms, across mobile devices, comes from a single source. And that is made available through, I would say, the fail-safe, as I call it, the fail-safe replication engine that we have for the application. Not to mention pricing and promotions, we manage them very well. Business growth and expansion, this is a very interesting area where we are able to allow a retailer to open retail stores with minimum IT footprint. So the mobile point of sale is something that allows us to do that. And when we talk about this, and we talk about this as we move along, and certainly the integration across different retail solution, accounting and ERP applications. So that brings me to this very interesting slide, which I call as the omni-channel journey. And as I said, given the background, I would first talk about this omni-channel journey, and then we actually demonstrate the omni-channel journey using iVend DemoStack. You will excuse me for the background noise. There's a construction going on in the area, in the ground floor, because of which there's a lot of background noise. You'll excuse me for that. So the omni-channel journey, okay? And we've all experienced this across different retailers that we interact with. So the whole thing starts by when the retailer decides to run a campaign. So retailer decides, let's say, for example, to send out coupons to all their loyalty customers who haven't shopped with them for the last, let's say, 3 months. Okay, so the omni-channel journey, the journey starts by receiving an email. When you receive an email, uh, it has a coupon, all right? It has a promotional coupon. You could redeem the coupon either going back to the store or going online. So let's say you decide to redeem the coupon by going to the e-commerce site. You redeem the coupon, and then you also decide that, okay, I would much rather pick up the goods while going back home. So you select the store from where you want to pick up the goods. You select the store. You also confirm whether the goods that you or the jeans, for example, that you have bought, that you want to buy, would it be available in that store or not? So as a consumer, you have the option of checking the inventory levels of that particular item that you bought at that particular store from where you want to pick up. You go to the store, you identify yourself, you are handed over the jeans that you want. Now, a couple of things could happen. Either you could just pick up the jeans and go back, simple, or the cashier could try and upsell to you, let's say, a T-shirt that would go very well along with the jeans that you have bought. And if unfortunately that T-shirt is not available, the cashier would be in a position to order it to be delivered to you from a nearby store, and it gets delivered at home. Another interesting cycle could be that you go to the store, you receive an email, you go online, you buy whatever you have to, you go to the store, okay, you buy something, you get delivered whatever you had bought, and the other stuff you say, well, why can't you just deliver it at home? That delivery could be done by the store staff using iVend mobile point of sale, pretty much the Amazon model, where the delivery boy comes home, he delivers whatever he has to, completes the transaction, and he goes away. So if that's the kind of cycle I'm going to talk about. Basically, an email that comes to you, going online, checking whether the goods are available in the store or not, going to the store and collecting the goods. I'll just complete till here, and then I'll do one more transaction. You go online, buy whatever you have to, and you don't go to the store, but the goods are delivered to your home using iVend mobile point of sale. And somewhere in the entire cycle, I would have covered, obviously, coupons. I would have covered gift cards. I would have covered loyalty points, and of course, the mobile point of sale. So that's the journey I want to talk about. And what is important for me to mention, I've been saying this now, is that the demo stack would allow you to do this and these kind of transactions. And to specifically talk about how does the omni-channel journey is, which part of iVend Retail fulfills the omni-channel journey. So the promotions and loyalty and digital passes allow you to get an email. Online shopping, obviously, through iVend e-commerce. iVend terminal and the mobile point of sale is where you kind of get your goods delivered at the store. And because it's a single stock pool, you'll have it delivered at home. So that's the cycle I want to talk about. And before I flip over to the application, I just want to take a small pause here and open the forum for any questions that you may have. As I said earlier, please try and make the session as interactive as you possibly can. You can ask me any question that comes to your mind. Raise your hand. Either we'll answer it in the questions chat box, or we can always unmute the lines. The idea is to make this session as interactive as we possibly can. So just a small little pause, and if you have any questions, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll flip over to the application and start doing the transactions. All right, so I think that's too early actually to be having any questions. So let's try and stop the PPT for a moment and straight away flip over to the application. But before I go there, just one small diagram that I want to explain is this. So what you see on the screen is iVend Retail in its full glory, if you may. All the participating applications and modules, the way they are organized. So at the core of the solution, we have iVend Enterprise. iVend Enterprise is the central server where you define all retail related masters. When I say that, I mean all promotions, gift cards, coupons, loyalty programs, all the good stuff that you define here. You also define the master data. When I say master data, I mean all the articles, customers, price list, taxes, etc. in the centralized server. And if there is an ERP at the back end, if there's a core accounting application running in the back end, then the few masters are bidirectional, most of them are unidirectional. For example, you could create items either here or here. You could create items at the store or the point of sale. You could create customers either at the point of sale or at the central server or in the ERP. So customers and items are bidirectional in nature. Price lists, taxes, all these are unidirectional. They come from the core accounting application all the way to iVend and then all the way down to the retail store. So that's how this part works. And we'll come to this as we move along. So imagine iVend Enterprise Server to be the central server where all master data is managed, where this is also the place where you define all retail specific masters, as I said, promotions and gift cards and coupons. This is also the place where the entire transactional data from all the store operations get, I would say, collated. I won't say integrated, but I much rather use the word collated. So this is the place which collects the entire master data and maintains that information at the transactional level. You can then integrate the transactional data into the ERP either 1:1 or a consolidated rolled up transaction. And I'll explain these terms as we move along during the course of the day and subsequent days. As to what does a roll-up transaction mean, what does 1:1 mean. But imagine in your mind, this being the central location where the entire master data is managed. This is the place where the entire transactional data is collated. Connected on the internet to this enterprise server are the store operations. Every store has a store server, which depending upon the size of the store could be a server class machine or it could be high-end PC. Is a store server, and connected to the store server over a LAN connection are the terminal point of sales or a mobile point of sale. And I can have many hundreds of such store units, as I call them. Now the connection between terminal point of sale and the store server is typically a LAN connection. You can also have a mobile point of sale within the store, which connects to the store server or a Wi-Fi connection, essentially a LAN connection. It's just that the connection is on a Wi-Fi network. This point of sale is one of the most interesting components that we have in the entire application suite. This, when used within the store, could be used as a queue buster. So imagine a large supermarket kind of a store where you have a specific line for less than 5 items. The same mobile point of sale can be used in the specialty retail business, let's say apparel or footwear, for clienteling purposes. You can hand over the tablet, okay, which could be an iPad or an Android tablet, to the customer, and the customer can flip over all the items as in a catalog. So can have the mobile point of sale can have a catalog view, which allows the customer to kind of flip through the product range, typically used in apparel, footwear kind of business, where you would much rather have the customer browse through the catalog before they finally select what they have to. It becomes more interesting, the mobile point of sale, when it is used outside the retail store. When it's outside the retail store, it could connect either to the enterprise or to the store over a 3G, 4G, or an LTE kind of a connection. So what this does is, we talked about a point earlier about business expansion. What it does is, it allows the retailer to expand the business by just having a simple mobile point of sale, which is essentially the point of sale terminal on a tablet device, which could be an iPad or an Android tablet. So imagine as a retailer trying to open a store up country where you don't want to have a huge amount of investment on the IT footprint, hubs, router switches. You don't really want to have all of that. What you could potentially do is you could configure an iVend mobile point of sale, attach it to a store or directly to the enterprise server, and use that device for point of sale transactions. Now, if it is an iPad, then you can have Bluetooth based scanners and printers. If it is an Android tablet, you could utilize the OTG cable to fire up the cash drawer, the receipt printers, the scanners, etc. And it is this which is being used by a few of our customers. Al Hajri, for example, uses this for in Kuwait. They use it for home delivery purposes. Yakult, the probiotic company in India, it's a Japanese company. In the Indian context, they use it for door-to-door delivery of the probiotic bottles and for B2B sales also. So it's a very interesting concept. Obviously, it works both in the online and the offline mode. If it is connected, it runs online. If not, it is in the offline mode. It retains the data, and whenever it gets connected to the store or the enterprise server, the data gets synchronized. You could set the synchronization frequency for every so many minutes, on a particular time of the day, or it could be on demand. It could be synced in the background also. So we'll talk at length about the mobile point of sale and the different use cases that it may have. That's as far as this side of the operations are concerned, mobility and store operations. On this side, we have iVend e-commerce. On this side, we have iVend e-commerce, which is seamlessly an e-commerce portal, a typical e-commerce portal, seamlessly integrated into iVend Enterprise and eventually to the ERP if there is one. The integration ensures that the entire master data, which means the articles, the product groups, the customers, the price list, the promotions, the loyalty, etc., all those get automatically integrated and inherited into iVend e-commerce, which essentially means to say that iVend e-commerce is defined and maintained like any other store. It may have its own price list. The entire master data is automatically replicated here. The entire transactional data flows from e-commerce all the way to enterprise and then to the store, which we are going to do a transaction right now. And then we have iVend Passes. iVend Passes is a cloud-based solution which allows retailers to distribute gift cards, coupons, and loyalty cards via email. We utilize the Apple Passbook functionality to ensure that you don't have to really carry paper-based or plastic-based coupons and gift cards. You can maintain all that using in the Apple Wallet, pretty much on the lines of the boarding passes or the tickets, the cinema tickets that we have on the passes. Similarly, on those lines, we use iVend Passes. And then we have reporting and analytics. I'll spend a lot of time trying to explain this. Comprehensive reporting and analytics, reporting done at 5 different levels. We have predefined reports. We have dashboards. We can write ad hoc queries and so on and so forth. So all that good stuff we can do here. So as I said, all this is what DemoStack is all about. And obviously, the entire retail solution is all about this. We will, should you configure, which I sincerely recommend you should, the DemoStack, you would be in a position to have the entire application configured to do all that I'm going to show you today and in the subsequent days. So that said, the first process that I'm going to talk about is how do we manage campaigns. As I said, the whole cycle starts by you receiving a promotional email. Let me try and show that to you. How would that promotional email look like? I will reflect my inbox and my phone onto the screen, and I'll show you the email that I received, and I'll also show you where the email is configured. Just bear with me for a moment. You'll excuse me for the lot of background noise. All right, so let me click here and let me click this one. So that's a promotional email that I received from the apparel store, which is the name of the store. Okay, and all this is customizable. The banner here, the text, this banner, everything. And I press this button called add to wallet. What it does is it basically utilizes the iVend passes, pass.ivend.com, and this is the digital pass that comes up, which has a coupon MKTG001. I press the add button. The moment I press this add, it gets added to my Apple Wallet. Let me show that to you here. So this is my wallet, and I have multiple coupons. Let me just try and flip through a few of them so that you get an idea as to what we're talking about. The entire thing is completely customizable, where we have the logo is customizable, the banners, this image is customizable, the color scheme is customizable, and I can have many such. I could run these promotional coupons by different product groups, okay, and different categories. Let me first flip through so that you get an idea as to what we're talking about. Let's say this is the one that we're talking about. Okay, I can have my own terms and conditions mentioned at the back side. Okay, and as I was saying, these are all geofenced, which means the moment you come as a consumer, the moment you come in the vicinity of a retail store, it'll automatically send you a typical iOS notification saying that you are in the vicinity. These are your points. The coupon is going to expire, etc. Pretty much like the coupon, we have the loyalty cards, which talks about available points, awarded points, redeemed points, and expired points. This gets again updated in absolutely real time, where the moment you do a transaction, it'll mention so many points awarded, so many available, so many redeemed, so many expired points. And exactly on the same lines, we have out here the different, I would say, gift cards. So this is, for example, is my gold gift card, which has such and such balance, valid from till up to a particular date. And I'll show you the one that I'm going to use today for transaction purposes. As I said, all this is customizable. The shade of gray, the logos, the shade of purple, etc. Give me a moment, let me bring that up. Oh, this is way too many. So these are the, I mean, one of these is what I would be using. But as I said, you can have a gold card within this shade or a platinum or a silver card. So that's from a journey standpoint, if I were to talk about, we just received a coupon. We've just received a coupon and we just add it to the wallet. We will now go online and try and do some kind of some shopping. Let me just remove the phone from here for a moment. Excuse me. All right, so let's go to my iVend e-commerce site. What you see on the screen is one of the skins, as we call it, one of the templates that we use for iVend e-commerce. This is a slightly customized one because I've added my own banners, etc. But if you notice, I have ensured that this logo here is pretty much the same as the logo of that you got in the email, which will be the same as when you see the point of sale. So I am currently logged in, and let's say go to apparel men. And before I go there, just a brief note about iVend e-commerce. So this is this is the home screen. Not only this, but almost all e-commerce sites predominantly have four broad sections. First is the home screen as to how should it look like. The second is what will come up right now is the entity screen, which let's say I picked up apparel. Sorry, I need to log in. One moment. Just bear with me. So I was talking about the four broad pillars of any e-commerce application. The first is the home screen, where you list all the goods that you want to talk about, which in this case, apparel, electronic furniture, jewelry, etc. These are the ones which are automatically picked up from the product groups which are defined in iVend Enterprise, which in turn are kind of inherited from an ERP, should there be an ERP at the back end. So the first is the home page. The second is what we call as the entity page, which has list of all the particular items which belong to a particular entity. In this case, men's apparel. You'll bear with me for a moment. It's slightly slow. The entire e-commerce site is extremely customizable for its banners, for its images, etc. And if you see on the left-hand side, you could be shopping by category, shopping by brand, shopping by colors, shopping by sizes. And unique to this is where you could buy a combination of loyalty points that you may have and paying by cash or credit card. So you could just use this slider to determine how much should you be paying by points and how much should you be paying by cash or credit card. So this is my entity page. On the entity page, all the items are listed. So let me pick up one of my favorites, I would say. I press the buy button here, and what happens? It goes automatically to the shopping cart. I will come to this iVend e-commerce again in one of my subsequent sessions. Idea here is to try and emphasize and impress upon the omni-channel journey that we were talking about, where the journey starts you by receiving a coupon and an email, and then going online and buying whatever you have to. I think I was not able to press the buy button appropriately. One moment. The another very good thing about iVend e-commerce, much like others, is its ability to manage the images. What that means is that system automatically decides and understands how to scale up or scale down a particular image. So if you see here, it's a very different size, whereas on the entity page, it's a very different size altogether. And if you go to the product page, it'll be a very different size. So if I go here and if I show the product page, that's a very different size. So iVend e-commerce rather, allows you to define 10 different images, okay, for a particular product, more required in the context of footwear and apparel. And system is again smart and intelligent enough to scale it depending upon where the item is to be displayed. System also has integration to social media, so to say. So you could send a link to a friend of yours, you could like, and because of its integration, what it also says is it'll tell you if a particular item is available on a discount, or if there is some kind of a scheme running. So I was talking about the different images sizes. So these are the different image sizes available. You can have 10 of them, and you can mention different product related information here. So let's keep going. Let's go to my shopping cart and I say checkout. When I press the checkout button, it'll take me to the fourth important pillar of any e-commerce site, which is the sign out page, or in our case we call it the single page checkout. So you don't have to keep on skipping. Again, this is a very standard functionality in most of the standard e-commerce applications. We also have it, no big deal. But the idea is to have one single page from where the sign out, where the customer can check out. You'll excuse me, the system is rather slow, but it is still working. So while we wait for this to the checkout page to come up, what will happen is we bought two pieces. Okay, we would be in a position to enter the coupon that we have received, and more importantly, we would be able to decide the store from where we want to get the goods checked out. Give me one more minute. I think it's still happening. This is what I call as the Murphy's Law. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. I did a transaction earlier, so I would be able to show that to you. Let this take its own time. Doesn't really matter. Let me start it again. You'll excuse me for this. So there you are again. I was able to bring it back, and um, let's go to the checkout page, and I press the checkout button. It'll open, as I said, the single checkout page for me. I hope it does. This indeed is very embarrassing. I'm sorry about that. So while we wait for this to happen, let me kind of ask everyone if you have any questions so far. We haven't talked about licensing at length. I was thinking we'll talk about that when we kind of finish this one complete cycle. But if you have any questions, please go ahead. So this is rather embarrassing that I'm not able to complete a transaction here. Uh, but broadly speaking, that's how it'll kind of work. That I would be able to mention a coupon here, decide the store where I have to buy, and the transaction, the particular transaction that I've done would be available at the retail store for me to check out. So while this is happening in the background, let me keep moving ahead. Let me keep moving ahead, and we talk about the other part of the session that the other thing that I want to cover today. So having done this, okay, I want to talk about the how the data is organized in the demo stack. I'm not sure how many of you have been able to download the demo stack, but let me try and explain how the demo data is organized. So, and before I go there, you can download the demo data from the demo stack section, demo stack link rather, on the partner kit page. Anyways, we are back here. So I select the checkout option. I say continue to checkout. I could either use the address that I already have, or I could select a different address altogether. I mentioned the coupon code MKTG001 is what I had received. I apply it, and the system will automatically apply a 20% discount, because that's what the email said, that I would be getting a 20% discount automatically. There you go. I press the proceed to checkout button, and and the shipping options that come up, this is where we would be able to, the consumer would be able to decide whether he wants to have normal shipping, or he would like to go to a particular retail store of his choice to to uh, to collect the goods. Sorry about that. So I can select, let's say, this one, main store, and I was selling earlier. I would be in a position to see the availability of that particular store. It says yes, these two items are available in the store, and I press next. And in this case, I've decided to pay once I reach the store. So I can specify the order notes. For example, please gift wrap, and I place the order. If you see on this side, a 20% coupon has been applied. I could utilize a gift card if I have, or I could redeem through my loyalty points. In this case, let's keep going like this for a moment. I could always enter a gift card and redeem the entire thing from my loyalty points. But let's say I place the order. And the moment I place the order, system will inform the store manager that Manish or Edward Robinson would come and pick up the goods. It obviously send an email to the consumer, Edward Robinson, that this is what your receipt is, this is how it looks like, and you may need this to identify yourself when you reach the retail store. I think I have a question here. One moment. Let me see. I'm reading the questions. Give me a moment. So Felipe says your previous slide said omni-channel instead of omni. Sorry about that. Sorry about the typing mistake. Another question I have: is there a limit on the amount of point of sale in the store? No, there is no limit on the point of sales in the store. One of the largest installations that we have for point of sale in a store is down south in India, where you have one store, and that store has about 65 or 70 point of sales. It's a supermarket, multi-level supermarket of sorts. There are about 6 different floors, and every floor having so many point of sales. So there isn't any limit. Then Amiran also wants to know, thanks, I'm referring to the number of point of sale in the store, which is kind of answered. Yes. So Amiram, to the point that you're asking, 40 to 50 caches working at the same time, yes. One of the customers that we have has about 65, 70 point of sales in a particular store. Then another question from Munfai is there any option to drill down to the picture of the product? When you say drill down to the picture of the product, you certainly click the picture and it'll zoom out, yes. Felipe wants to know, as I place my order, there is a reservation done immediately so that the items are not sold to someone else. Excellent question. Let me try and explain this. So you saw the kind of mess that we had a while ago. We were trying to buy, the connection was not good, the site was not behaving properly. That's a typical situation that might happen when you're doing online shopping, certainly not with iVend Retail. So that could happen. So what the system does, it checks the inventory at 3 stages. Once when you're browsing through the entity page or the product page, that's the first time it checks. Second, it checks when you place the items onto your shopping cart, when you press the add to cart button. That's the second time it checks. And the third time when it checks is when you say place the order. So in the event if there are goods which are fast selling, you would automatically, the system will automatically maintain that kind of inventory check and balance. So it happens in absolute real time. But a very important, thank you so much for asking that question. It does check inventory at three different stages. Joanne wants to know, can the system be integrated into existing retail point of sale systems? Yes, certainly yes. You can use the interoperable APIs, you can use the extensibility, and you can integrate this to any third-party point of sale system. And that's a request we get very often, to integrate e-commerce to a retail solution, or integrate loyalty to an existing solution, integrate digital passes to an existing retail system. All that is possible. All that certainly is possible. Felipe wants to continue discussion, says, after you've placed the order, what tells the store manager to put them aside? Yes, another very important question. We'll talk about this when we get into iVend detail in length. We have notifications. There are in-app notifications, as we call them, where the system can be configured to send out notifications on certain events. So it's not just getting an online order. It also includes, for example, when you do stock transfer from store A to store B, purchase order at the central office, that information goes. For example, you are in specialty retail business and the cashier wants to offer an additional discount to the customer but doesn't have the authority to do so. The cashier can send an in-app message notification to the store manager or someone else in the head office to get an additional discount, that notification, if you may, can then be either accepted or rejected. So these notifications not only happen in app, you can also configure emails and text messages to that effect. So to the point, Felipe, that how does the manager get to know? The manager would get to know through an in-app notification function that we have, which ensures that he's able to manage it. Very good. Let me again run through the questions if I've missed out any. I think that's largely it. Anybody else, if they want to ask a questions, please make it very interactive. All right, so no problem. We keep going for now. So what really happened is, if I go back to the slide that I was talking about, and you'll excuse me for the small goof up that happened. Let me just show you the slide that I was talking about, the entire omni-channel journey. So in this journey, what we've done so far, we've received a coupon from within the application. We've done shopping of a particular 2 pieces, and now we will go to the retail store and see whether that information is available or not, and how does the pickup at the store functionality really work. So I'll now open my point of sale application. So what you see on the screen is the user interface of my point of sale application. This is a fully customizable application where you can have your own logos. If you see this, the apparel store, this is consistent all across. You have own logos, own color schemes, the different buttons, their sizes, their orientation, and their performance and behavior. This is the scan area, which is an intelligent scan area where you can, system is able to smartly understand what you've scanned, whether you've scanned a barcode or a batch number or a customer code or a particular item. It automatically checks that. We will go through the transaction search area. We press this button and say transaction search. Okay. None of this would be required in real life, because the user would have the receipt. He will come and identify himself. I press the search button. This is an e-commerce store transaction. And I search. It'll then show me that, okay, this is the transaction that we are looking at, an e-commerce transaction by Edward. I pick this up. It has a Tommy Hilfiger button, sweet brand awareness. I press the fulfillment button. If you go through this, it'll tell you what is the balance required, if at all there's any balance. The transaction is added for fulfillment purposes, which essentially delivery. I press the special order payment button. 269, press enter, OK. The system will tell you payment completed. Do you want to deliver the items automatically? Yes. And I press the delivery button. I have to specify a delivery number. Okay. And I have to specify the shipping type, which is the in-store shipping type. I do that. And once I'm done, I again press this button. Another very interesting point, would you like to donate 0.02? I'll say no for now, but we'll come to this as we move along in our sessions, that this is a very interesting concept as to utilizing this for donation purposes and also for rounding off. I say no for now. The transaction gets completed. And the moment my transaction is completed, because Edward is a loyalty member, he will get a notification on how many points he has accumulated in this transaction. My digital passes are issued appropriately, my transaction is printed. And if I want to see the transaction here, let me bring this up. This is the receipt that I have. Now, I could either have a 3-inch thermal receipt, or I could actually print it onto a proper document printer, depending upon the line of business that we are in. Again, this is extremely customizable. We'll cover this topic, receipt and report customizations, in one of the sessions subsequently. But it talks about the transaction number, the date, the user, the customer, the details of the particular item, what was the bill total, how was it tendered, it was tendered in cash. And the system is smart enough to know that, thank you, Edward, for shopping with us. It knows, the receipt kind of knows that we have to print this message whenever Edward shops with us. So that's kind of completes the transaction. I'm waiting for the email that comes, which says that I have accumulated so many points. I'll open the forum for any questions if there are any. Let's see. So we answered Felipe's question. Answer Joanne's question. I think that's not late. Okay. Amiram wants to know, can I customize each point of sale layout in the same store differently? Yes, you can. You certainly can. And that's where the concept of retail profile fits in. It's not only just the layouts. Imagine a situation where you want to change the language of the point of sale based on who logs in. So we have a customer in Canada. They utilize this functionality. One side of Canada speaks French and the other side of Canada speaks English. So depending upon who is logging in and from where, the system automatically understands the preferred language for Manish, let's say, is French, and the preferred language for Amiram, for example, is English. So you could do that. Not only that, when you license the application comes with about 6-7 different templates. And very hurriedly, let me try and show them to you. I will talk about this as we move along in the enablement sessions. What you see on the screen is the user interface for my management console, the back office. I go to layouts and pick up. So what we are seeing is the apparel template. Let me show you how does the Metro template look like. I press edit and it's a point of sale designer. What it'll load, a completely different interface, but having the same set of functionality. So all buttons, as you can see, the different panels, the background colors, etc. These are all customizable. Excuse me, my system is rather slow today. Have a look at this. So my logo comes here as against what it was earlier here. The different tabs, the way they are organized is very different. And what we can also do, just to add to what you were asking, what you could also do is you can design this in a different, should I say, setup. Let's call it the UAT setup or the testing setup. And then you can export the layout, and then you can further and then later import the layout into the production system. So you can do all that good stuff. Let me try and answer a few more questions. Let's keep going. Can I have pictures? Can I have pictures? Felipe wants to know, can I have pictures inside the buttons? You can. Yes, you can. Let me see if I have a few of them. A layout which has pictures in it. One moment. I think sports template had some pictures in it. Oh, come on. This is rather slow today. This is what I call it the Murphy's Law. Whenever you want it to work really fast, it kind of slows it down, slows the whole thing down. But yes, there you are. You can certainly have pictures in it. These are accessories, my lifestyle options. This is one of the layouts that we have. Okay, so this, and then we have a few more questions. Let's keep on answering them. Philippi says thanks. Ralph, thank you for joining in. What the question is, what is the report customization tool that you use in the point of sale system? So we have something called as the report designer, and the dashboard designer, which is inbuilt in the application. What tool is it called? I will find that out for you. Stimulsoft. Yes, that's the tool that we use. Stimulsoft is what the name is the name of the tool, but it is inbuilt in the application, and pretty much like if you're comfortable with Crystal Reports, is pretty much like that. It's slightly more advanced than Crystal Reports, but Crystal Report functionality, people who know Crystal Reports can easily use Report Designer and Dashboard Designer, which is inbuilt in the application. Click yes to exit. Let's answer a few more questions. Philippe says, I'm guessing you can have cascading button pictures of product group leads to buttons showing items in the group. Yes, you certainly can. You certainly can. I can have a multi-level, should I say, cascading images or panels that can open. You can certainly have that. So one opens the other, and you keep drilling down. You can certainly do that. Okay. All right. I think that said, let me go to the second part of the entire discussion here. We want to talk about how the demo data is organized and where do you download the demo stack from. So you'll excuse me for the kind of goof off that happened. The system became slightly slow. I was not able to do transactions the way I wanted to do them. But the whole idea is to try and emphasize the fact that it is certainly possible for you to have the entire thing configured using DemoStack, exactly the way I'm trying to do. Another important functionality that, again, you would have seen it in most of the websites and portals is the exit offers. So the moment you try and close the browser, it says you can save 10% off, enter the information below, and you close it. What it does is it'll reappear every, should I say, 15 minutes. So if you say no once and you go back 15 minutes later, you would still be able to, you will again get the exit offer message. So I have a few more questions, I guess. I think I'm good. All right. So this is my knowledge portal. It's called the CitiXsys knowledge portal. I sign in. I sincerely request you to please register, download the demo stack, get it installed. We have tried to make the installation manual as intuitive as I possibly can. In any case, we have, as I said earlier, we've asked the global support team to be available for any kind of assistance that may be required for DemoStack installation. So this is one central place. This is the hub of the knowledge. You have all the knowledge articles, all the e-learnings, forum posts, document stores, downloads, and so on and so forth. I'll go straight away to the place where you can download the demo stack. Go to the partner kit page. You will get you will get access to the partner kit page if you have registered as a solution reseller. Okay. So this is the partner kit page, one single place where you would be able to see all the resources that you need, either as a sales consultant or as an implementation consultant. All the content is available here, be it the videos, or be it the different artifacts here, user guides, etc. So this is where you download the iVend DemoStack, and this is where you download the iVend DemoStack installation guide. We've updated this, and this is something that you would need for doing the installation. I will let you guys do that. Okay. I sincerely recommend that before we meet tomorrow, you should have the demo stack installed and configured. It isn't very complicated, and I'll talk about in the subsequent part of the presentation today. So that said, let me move to the PPT deck again. So we spoke about the omni-channel journey. We did all these transactions. There's one transaction which I did not do on purpose because my system is running rather slow, is where you buy online and you configure and you let the goods be delivered using iVend mobile point of sale. If not today, in my subsequent sessions, we'll talk about that on different use cases of iVend mobile point of sale. Okay, so let's keep going. I will circulate this slide deck to everyone. All those people who have attended the session will get the slide deck. Okay, let's talk about how the demo stack and how the data is organized in the demo stack. So as I've been saying, the demo stack will allow you to install and with automatic configurations actually, iVend terminal point of sale, mobile point of sale, iVend loyalty, e-commerce, digital passes, and of course the core iVend enterprise. These are the different modules and applications which get installed and configured. The data is so organized, it's organized in a manner that it has enough and more data to address to specialty retail, footwear, electronic store, bookstore, sporting goods, consumer product goods, as they call in the United States or in Americas, FMCG as they're called in the Eastern Hemisphere, fast-moving consumer goods. CPG and FMCG, these goods are also configured in the application. We have serial control items, batch controlled items, upsell items, and alternate items, which covers almost the significant part of business transactions, if you may. The second part is very important, where the core of the solution lies, is ability to manage special prices, periods, and volume discounts. All retailers would have some element of special prices. They will always be running some period and volume discounts. Now, my system is currently integrated to an ERP, SAP Business One, but when you install the demo stack, you can install it in both ways: unplugged mode, which is not connected to the ERP, or in the plugged in mode where you're connected to an ERP, typically an SAP Business One installation of US localization. I have that thing installed, will not go there, but I'm just saying the demo stack has the capability to install and get integrated to an SAP Business One installation also. I'm not sure how many participants here are from an SAP Business One background, but if you are, towards the end of the session, I'll try and take any questions that may be around SAP Business One. So Ralph's question: what does CPG stand for? CPG stands for Consumer Product Group. Essentially, soaps, detergents, the day-to-day grocery items is what CPG is. In Asia Pacific, it is also called FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods. So that's what CPG essentially stands for. Okay. When we talk about price lists, special price list, we have a few customers which get automatically defined in the system. Paul White, for example, will get a 9% discount on all the items. Donald Martin will get 5% discount. Kenneth Gracia will get 7% discount. What that means is, if I go to my iVend management console, which is this application, which is an application installed at the store level and also at the enterprise level, if I go here, and if I go to operations, pricing and promotions, special price list, Paul, for example, and double click this, Paul gets a 9% discount on all the items. Okay. Donald, for example, will get a, oh, come on, will get a 5% discount. So these are predefined in the system. So whenever you select a customer Donald, which is C0015, when you select the customer Donald at the point of sale, and you select one of the items that have been configured for Donald, you will automatically get a 5% discount. So let's say 100184. I go to the point of sale, I select the customer DONALD. Okay, system will automatically understand we're talking about Martin Donald, and the product that we're talking about 100184. 100184. The moment I select this, it'll automatically resolve it for that particular discount. And then, in addition to this, we also have period and volume discounts. That means if you buy one, you get a 10% off. If you see here, one piece gets a, and if you select two of them, for example, something wrong with the system, rather slow, I would say. So system will automatically determine the kind of pricing and volume discounts which have been defined in the system. So that's as far as this is concerned. So whenever you select a particular item, two pieces get one piece gets a 10% off, two gets 12%, five get 15, and 15 get 20% off. These are simple period and volume discounts defined through the price list, more applicable in the context when you have SAP Business One as the ERP integrated. There's a question in between, 1 second. Is it possible to see the cost when updating special prices? Yes, you can do that. Anand wants to know if you have multiple discounts applicable, which one gets applied? Very pertinent questions. I'll answer that question. We have something called bonus by hierarchy, promotional hierarchy, that will allow the system to understand at what stage and at what kind of discount has to be applied. We'll come to that in a moment. I'm just going through very hurriedly through the demo data that we have, and I'll take all these questions and show them in the application. Apart from the special price list, we have one coupon defined as CP10A001, which is 10% discount on all items. MKTG001 is what I've already defined, gets a 20% discount on all items. There are two gift cards which have been defined, store gift card and e-commerce gift card. Couple of promotions. Okay, this is one of my favorite topic. Buy X, get a 50% on Y. So if you scan this item 100109 on the point of sale, it'll automatically prompt that 107 is available on a 50% discount. Let me try and show this to you. $100,109. I scan this item. It'll automatically prompt me that there's another item available 100107 on a 50% discount. If I click this, color changes to blue. I press OK, and it'll automatically resolve on the point of sale. Saying, okay, fine, with a different color combination, saying, okay, these are the items which are under this particular promotion. So these items get automatically colored. So you buy this, get a 50% discount on this. Let's go back to the presentation. Then another promotion that we have defined is very interesting. Buy 4, get the 5th at the lowest value for free. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan these items 100, 201, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the cheapest of this should be available for free. Let's see. Avoid this transaction. One zero zero two zero one, 100202, 100,203, 100,204, 100,205. So the moment that happens, it says buy 4 and get the 5th at the lowest value for free. So the one which is the lowest value would be available for free. Okay, and this transaction is not only available for this. You can always configure this for the product set that you want to have. The images that you saw here were not very high resolution items. You can always create those images. And as I said, as we move along, one of the things that I'm going to talk about is how best to present the solution and how best to configure a solution for a particular presentation. We'll talk about that in my subsequent sessions. Then you have another one, buy 3 and get 1 free, which the cheapest of the above is free. Buy all these at a fixed price. Okay, so you buy 751,752, you get 713,714 at a fixed price of 10 currency units. Now, when we talk about promotions, I'm more than sure, and you should be having a lot of questions around promotions and coupons. So when you define a promotion, there'll always be a buy side and always be a get side. You have to buy something to get something. So that's a fundamental premise of any promotion that a retailer is trying to run. So the application allows you to define buy sides and get sides. So you could be buying, let me actually show that to you in the application. We call them bonus buys. Okay. And let's say pick up buy 4 and the 5th of the lowest value for free. Let's try and edit this. So when we talk about promotions, okay, there are two types of promotions, bonus buys and fixed price. We'll come to that when we talk about promotions at length and detail. You can run it for a date range. You can run it for a time range within a date range. You could specify the minimum bill amount, quantity, and the discount type or the discount. Maximum redemption per store. That means, imagine you're trying to run a promotion, first 100 transactions for free, or first 100 customers will be available for this kind of promotion. So start thinking on the lines that a retailer could configure a promotion where he could run it only limited number of times, and you could create a marketing campaign around it. Okay, can it repeat in a transaction? Okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, but what I was trying to talk about was the setup, the buy side and the get side. You could be buying any of the products. You could be buying any of the products. You could be buying a product from a group, product from a category. Okay, in this case, you're buying any 4. On the get side, you could either get loyalty points, you could get a product, a specific one, product from a group, product from a category, you could get a coupon, you could get a gift card. In this case, I'm saying when you buy any 4, okay, you will get 1 at 100% discount, and it is mandatory for you to get that. From a get side, you have to specify that particular item. Okay, so you have a buy side and a get side. That's the point I was trying to make. There's a buy side and a get side, and all promotions that we define will always have a buy side and a get side. To the question that I was asked, that can I define the bonus buy hierarchy? Yes, I can define the order in which, or when the system is trying to resolve a particular item being available in a promotion, at what point in time should it move out of the resolution list. So my first promotion is discount coupon. My second promotion in the order of hierarchy is buy 3 get 1 free. My third one is buy any 5 on a fixed price, buy 4 get the 5th one free, and so on and so forth. So I could define so many promotions which may or may not be active, and the ones which are active can be listed for the hierarchical structure as to what is the order in which they have to be applied. Okay, let's go back to the way the data is organized once again. Then we have very comprehensive, should I say, configuration for loyalty customers. We have a few loyalty customers defined, and you can define a few more. So the first one is Edward Robinson, C0019. So when this is the customer which is created when you're installing the demo stack, and at some point in time in the demo stack you would be asked for your name and email ID, etc. So your email ID gets attached to this customer C0019 automatically in the demo stack. And the others are Brian Clark, Donald Martin. The loyalty program that we have defined is very simple. For every $100, you get 10 points. Every point is equivalent to $1, and 100% of the points can be redeemed. Now, what this essentially means is this is pre-configured loyalty. This is pre-configured loyalty program. And when we talk about loyalty in our subsequent sessions, I'll talk about as to how does this loyalty program actually run and work. You could be defining accumulation of points. You could be defining accumulation of currencies, and so on and so forth. So we'll talk about that in detail at length when we talk about loyalty as one of the modules. I will take a pause here and open the forum for any questions, if there are any. I also just wanted to let the audience know that the GoToWebinar is clever enough to understand and track the levels, attentiveness levels of the candidates. So we know how many of you are attentive enough, how many of you are not so attentive. So my sincere request, because everybody's investing so much of time from your side, okay, it's important that we try and pay attention to this. So Martin has a question. Let me just open. One second. So Martin had a question on the get section of bonus buy. Go ahead, Martin. Is it possible to select the show prompt? Yes, it is possible to show the select prompt on the get side of the promotion. The prompt works if what is being prompted for is a specific item. If it is a group, if the get side is one of the items from the group, there won't be any prompt. But if the get side is a specific item, then it will be then it'll show a prompt. What that also means is that on the get side, the show prompt, one second, for the benefit of the audience, one moment, bonus buys. Let me show that to you. I'll show you two of them. Buy X, get 25% on the group Y. In this case, the get side is any item from the group. You would not be able to do the show prompt here, okay? Because the system does not know which item has to be prompted. Whereas if your promotion is, which was the one? This was the one. Buy X, get 50% on Y. If the get side is a specific item, then you can have the show prompt enabled or disabled. I hope that answers the questions. That answers that particular question. Okay, Chena wants to know how to define the product master that the product is fixed price and cannot be discounted. Okay, fine. So again, on the point of the bonus buys, let's pick up the same one. Okay, I have the option of specifying an exclusion list. Okay, in the exclusion list, I can specify. These are the products. I can add a product or a group or a category. These are the ones which are excluded from a promotion. So what that means is you would be in a position. Let me go to setup. Setup talks about the buy and the get side. There's somewhere we talk about applicable. Yes, applicable talks about the stores where it will be applicable, and the exclusion list. I don't have an exclusion list. In the exclusion list, I can attach items and groups or categories which I don't want to be included for my promotions. So to the point that if you don't want all those products to be included in promotion which are already discounted, you can specify them here. So the question was how to define in the product master that the product is fixed price and cannot be discounted. Well, this is a slightly different question than what I really answered. Give me a second, I'll answer that again. Then Ramzi wants to know, can we define a special promotion for loyalty members? Yes, you can define promotion for loyalty members, certainly. So the way you do that is you add a customer group. When you say add a customer group, okay, you can have all your regular members, privileged members, B2B customers as a certain group, and the promotion would be applicable for them. So the earlier question was, how can I specify that item is fixed price in the product master? So wherever I define the product master, I would be in a position to specify from a price list standpoint. Let me just show this to you. 100102. If I say edit here, it'll open up the product master screen, and somewhere here I specify discounts allowed or not allowed. If I say the discount is not allowed, then the price becomes automatically fixed. It will not allow the point of sale to change, or anywhere else it won't be allowed for any kind of changes. I have a few more questions. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for making it very interactive. I think I've answered most of them here, but please keep asking. Martin, I think I did answer your question. Chen, I answered the question. Ramzi, I answered your question. Ralph, I answered the question. I think most of them have been answered. All right, so that brings me almost to the end of how the demo data is organized. See, the thing is, when you download the demo data, the DemoStack, it'll automatically create a prerequisite document, the demo script, and the configuration data. So if I open this for you, you'll automatically get 3 PDFs as a part of the install. And the fourth one is the installation manual that you can download for yourself. So this talks about how the demo data is organized in the entire, what I was just talking about very briefly in the presentation. It talks about introduction, assumption, the way it is organized, the different login credentials, what are the different features that have been configured, etc., etc. So this has a complete detail of how the data is organized. Okay. Similarly, if I click this one, the demo script talks about how the product is to be demonstrated. Where do you start the demonstration and how you go about doing the entire demonstration? What is the demonstration flow? Cash customer on iVend mobile. What all you have to do? It talks about individual transactions. Every step is mentioned here. Registered customer on iVend mobile, etc. And the third important document here is the prerequisite document. I sincerely request that you go through the prerequisite document before attempting the installation. What all is required? It gives you the entire information here in the prerequisite document. Okay. Do we have a few more questions? One moment. Oh, just give me a second. I'm going through the questions. One moment. Okay, Peter wants to know, when a client has a special price list set up 5% for Paul, does the period and volume discount as well? Meaning it would be more than 5% when buying, or does it reset to the other discount? It'll see the way the entire data is organized. It does a hierarchical checkup. So the first thing it checks up whether special prices are applicable or not. If the special prices are applicable, it will first pick up that. Then the period and volume discount is something that it will pick up the next. So 5% remains and you keep adding more quantities, it'll then add up the other quantities. So it's not going to be 5 plus whatever, it'll just pick up the one from a period and volume discount that have been defined. Then Jeff wants to know, can you set authority level on discount? Example, cashier cannot authorize but supervisor. Yes, we certainly can. In fact, the unplugged version also has an option of cost protection. So you can specify that the item cannot be discounted beyond a particular level to protect the costs. Farhan wants to know, I have uninstalled iVend app to put it on another PC without unregistering the license. Now, am I unable to use that key? Yes, you would not be able to use that key. What you really want to do is go to the license manager, return that particular license, return the license, and write an email to licenses@citiXsys.com. It's a plural word, licenses, and say, I'm returning this particular key. Can you issue me another one for the DemoStack purposes? So that is certainly possible. So all you need to do is license manager, return it, and request for the new one. Robin wants to know, on the topic of authority level, does mobile point of sale have the ability to interact with the cashier POS? If it requires a supervisor, can it be authorized by the mobile POS? Very interesting question and very pertinent one at that. So mobile point of sale is a very small little device. It's a small little device. You can't have many people fiddling with it. So the way the system is designed is that every transaction that you do on the mobile point of sale is also available on the terminal point of sale. It's kind of syncs in real time. So typically what will happen is, apart from the manager override functionality or additional discount functionality, you may have your cash drawer only on the fixed terminal, okay, or your credit card machine only on the fixed terminal. So you may like to do a clienteling kind of an operation using the mobile device, but for checkout purposes, because you want to have a cash drawer functionality and cash drawer will kind of tie you down to a location, you can then the transaction is immediately available on the terminal point of sale. Federico wants to know, are continuing promotions supported? That is, you buy a product X times in a fixed period of time and you get a reward. Oh, very interesting. Hang on, let me read the question again. You buy a product X number of times in X period, you get a reward. So yeah, this is more of a loyalty kind of question, applicable more in the context of loyalty, where it is based on number of transactions and the quantity based. Let me very briefly show that to you, and we'll cover that when we talk about loyalty. So when we go to loyalty and we talk about loyalty plan, somewhere here, okay, and I don't want to take it away from the entire audience, somewhere here we are able to specify that the calculation is going to be based on quantity, okay, equal to or greater than a particular value, okay, and all customer levels, transaction, one moment, it could be an item, group, promotional layaway, bill quantity, and for every or greater than particular number, okay, you will get a particular, you'll get the reward. So it is supported. So not able to do it right away, but short answer to your question, yes, it is possible to have quantity based loyalty programs also. Okay, so it's more of a loyalty plan rather than a promotion, so to say. And both the, should I say, loyalties and promotions are used interchangeably. At times it becomes very difficult to segregate between that. This is a loyalty application, or rather this is a loyalty feature, or this is a promotions feature. Okay, so, but short answer to the question, yes, we do quantity based loyalty programs also. Okay. Do we have a few more questions, Vish? Not for now? All right, good. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Keep an eye on the time. We have 20 more minutes left before we sign out for the day. Okay, and I'll try and see. Okay, so let me ask you this question. How many of you in the audience today have installed the demo stack or downloaded and installed the demo stack? Can you just please raise a hand? It'll give me an idea on what is the level of detail. Oh my God, just about everyone is it? Awesome. Almost everyone. Okay, brilliant. This is brilliant. And so for the others who haven't done that, my sincere recommendation and request: please download and install the demo stack. We've tried very hard, and to a reasonable degree, I think we've done a good job to have the entire demo stack available. One single installer, all the applications. You would be able to kind of go through the demo script and be in a position to kind of demonstrate the application and understand the application far more better. Ralph wants to know, I've installed the demo environment, something is not right. The e-commerce site isn't showing. Can you support that? Yes, Ralph, we can certainly do that. Do me a favor, write an email to global support and copy me, and I would get it. I will get some kind of support available to you. Some support will available. Ideally, support is not available on an email. We take an exception only for these enablement sessions where we take an email request as well. But the best way to do that is to go to the support portal, raise a ticket, and mention the fact that this is part of the enablement. We'll get it sorted. Not a problem. Jim wants to know, can you set up feedback for forms, question prompts, etc.? Yes, we can do that. Okay. So the question is, can you set up feedback forms, questions, prompts, etc. when completing a transaction? Short answer, yes, we can do that. So if you go to the point of sale, okay, and let me show you the customer facing display. This is my customer facing display. So the new version that we have, I think from iVend 6.5.6 onwards, we have the option of displaying on the customer facing display, of course, the transaction that's going on. We can display once a transaction is completed, how was your experience? We can display a promotional video that could be running. The short answer to the question, yes, we can do that. It certainly can show a kind of a questionnaire or a feedback form. Okay. Any other questions? Any other question that we have? I'm scanning through the. Farhan had a question, I think it got answered. All right, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. We talk about the demo stack installation process. Another suggestion that I had was try and not to install the demo stack on a virtual machine. Not that it really matters, but what really happens is when you are, if you want to attach any kind of an OPOS peripheral or a retail peripheral, like for example a scanner or a receipt printer, it at times becomes slightly challenging to configure a VM for these peripherals. It's just a suggestion. It's not any kind of limitation. All right, so let's talk about the demo stack installation process here. Okay, and that will be my last part. And before I leave this session today, I also want to take you very hurriedly through the different reports that we have in the system. Some of them which are very pertinent, some of them which are asked on a regular basis when we are in any kind of a presentation or a demo mode. I'll talk about that, but let's get through with the installation process. So we talked about where you can download. You go to the knowledge portal, go to the partner kit. On the left hand side, on the left widget, you first download the installation manual. You download the entire demo stack, and then you double click and start installing. So the first and the foremost thing, which is not only for DemoStack but even otherwise, is the collation. It's called the collation. The collation that you want to select for your SQL Server. Okay, you have to select SQL Latin 1 General CP1 CIAS. If you already have an installation, and if the collation of that installation is different than what we have, is what is mentioned here on the screen, the iVend, not only iVend, but even DemoStack would not function properly. So it's very important to get the collation right, which is the first thing that happens. Now, another thing that I want to mention is that iVend Retail, certainly at the store level, can run on SQL Express. Okay, SQL Express is can be distributed for free through distribution channels. So the DemoStack that you install, and if your machine does not have a SQL Server, it'll automatically detect it and tell you that would you like to get it installed or not. So you can install the SQL Server from the installer itself directly, from the DemoStack installer directly. The next thing that it asks for is the authentication mode, and you have to specify the mixed mode, which is the mixed mode for SQL, rather than the Windows authentication mode. Once you specify all that, the installation starts. You'll be expected to fill in and accept the end user licensing agreement. Okay, then it talks about the username and the email address. Thank you, Simon, for this. And then the installation starts. Try not to change the location where the DemoStack is getting installed. And in addition to this, this slide, the presentation I'm talking about, there is also a video on the Knowledge Portal recorded by my former colleague, which talks about the entire installation process. There is already a video that exists, which is not for DemoStack alone, for iVend Retail in general, but it'll give you a fair amount of idea as to what you're getting into from an installation standpoint. Once this part is done, it'll ask for whether you want to install the DemoStack in the standalone mode or the unplugged mode, or you want to have it with SAP Business One. If you're trying to do it with SAP Business One, then this option requires SAP Business One 9.3 PL4 pre-installed in the system. It runs only on the US localization, mind you. So you could either attempt one with the US localization, or what you could do is just do standalone for now, do the happy path, and then make it slightly more complicated as it goes along. Then the system also checks for, excuse me, it also checks for whether IIS is installed on the system or not. If it is not, then it'll install it for you. This takes a while, but the system will do that for you automatically. Okay, you get these multiple number of black screens one after the other. Once it is done, it'll ask for the user ID and password, and there is a standard password available, which will be shown it'll come at the end, well, in a subsequent slide. Then you have where you want to the email ID for iVend e-commerce, iVend loyalty, and iVend point of sale. This is the email ID that you want to that will be used for the customer Edward Robinson. Once you specify the second point, the next point is whether you want to define digital passes or not. So you'll have to go to pass.ivend.com, create a user ID and password for yourself, give the user ID and password here. It will be used in the application for any kind of coupons and passes, etc. And it'll keep going, installing the license manager, it'll copy your new files. Okay, once the entire installation is through, it'll prompt you for license administration. You want to activate a license through the internet, keep clicking, open the email that you would have received which had the license. Okay, this is how it would look like in that email. Okay, enter the email address, enter the activation ID. Let's say, for example, something like this, and make a note of this particular screen that comes at the end. It says, for point of sale and iVend handle management console, username 1, pass@123p capital. For e-commerce, etc., etc. And once you're done, system will automatically create these icons on your desktop. So I have a demo, as I said, a DemoStack script configuration data. And then when you open, you would be able to see your e-commerce, which will look pretty much like this. Okay, that's, I think, largely it for now. Okay, and I won't go through the different modules in length, or different options that I have here. We'll cover these in our subsequent discussions. I'm almost at the end of the allocated time. I just want to again open the forum for any questions that we may have before I close the session for today. Yes, I wanted to talk about the reports. I'll very hurriedly take you through the reports as well. So while you soak yourself here, let me just take you through the reports very hurriedly. This is the user interface for my management console. We'll talk about this tomorrow at length, which is 3-section: administration, operations, and reports. In the administration, we talk about system initialization, application setup, etc., and finally the report section. But one important thing that you have to mention when it comes to report is that iVend Retail, unlike most of the others, iVend Retail is one of the very few applications, if not the only application, which allow you to create labels. You can design your own labels from within the application. This is again a part of one of the sessions that we have. We talk about labels, label printing. I can create a label. I can create labels for items. I can create labels for shelves. Okay, I can do both of them. I can have a simple ad hoc query that I can write. Okay, and we'll come straight to the reports. So one level of reporting, I talked about the multiple levels of reporting earlier in the day today. One level of reporting is simple crystal type of reports, very simple. The second type is ad hoc queries. The third type is dashboards. And then, of course, you can create your own. So let's go to the sales first. And I pick up the ones which are very popular and always asked whenever we are in a demo. So for example, today there are about 128 odd reports, maybe a bit more, but I'll show you the ones which are important and are used on a near daily basis. So let's say pick up the first one is sales by item. Imagine this to be my sales ledger. Okay, so this is my sales ledger. I pick up a from date. Let's say I pick up a from date 1st of October to today's date for this particular store, and I want to see the details. So when I run this report, this, as I said, is my sales ledger. So all that happened in this particular store in this date range would be mentioned in this in my sales ledger. Okay, it shows date, transaction type, item description, quantity, average price, discount, tax, and total amount. This is my, as I said, a sales ledger. Okay, you can tick this off. Okay, in that case, it'll only show you a consolidated view of the ledger. Let me show you how it looks like. For a particular item, this is basically a sales register, mind you. So for a particular item, what was sold, average price, discount, tax, and total amount. This is all that was sold in this particular date range across this entire across the store. I can filter it down to a particular product group also, from product to product, customer group, and to a customer range for a particular cashier. I may or may not like to include layaways and refunds, and I may or may not want to see the details. This one simple report, which is essentially nothing but the sales ledger. Then let me show you another one, which is sales by transaction type. Okay, this one. Okay, if I want to see a transaction type, let's pick up a date range. I'm picking up October 1st till today for a particular store. I would include sales, refunds, exchanges, deliveries, orders, and layaways. Let's say I want to remove refunds in this, and I don't want to include layaways. Let's see how it looks. So this is what it'll tell me, all the transactions by particular transaction type. That means all the sales transactions on the 12th. This is by date. This will come out by date on the 12th of October, on the 24th, 26th. This is again a big ledgerish kind of report. It is about transaction type. What are the different transactions grouped by transaction type for a given date range? Okay. Then I want to show you one more, which is store analysis. This again is, I'll pick up a date range first. And I want to see it, I could see it by day, by week, by month, or by year. So let's now pick up by week. Okay, and I want to include the orders also. So what the system is, what this report is trying to do is, it is trying to show you consolidated sales by either a day, by days, by weeks, or by months. So on this particular date, or rather in this particular week, okay, this was the sale, and this week this was the sale, and so on and so forth. I can see it by daily also, which will typically be my sales ledger, but I can do that. Another interesting report I want to talk about is my tenders report, tender collection by store. Okay, again, I pick up a date range, and I tell you where this report would be extremely helpful. Okay, and I want to see across all the tender types. So this one says so much of cash, so much of credit card, so much of gift certificates, so much of loyalty. This is how the sale really happened. This one report can give me two different information. One, it tells me how much transaction did I have through credit card. This information can be utilized for reconciliation purposes when the credit card company remits me the money. So I, as a consumer, I swipe the credit card. It takes a while for the retailer to get the money. So in the intervening period, if the retailer wants to do any kind of reconciliation, he can use this particular report to do the reconciliation. Second important place where it can be used is when we talk about loyalty. This report tells me that only 220 currency units were spent in this huge date range, like 4-5 different months. This gives me an idea that if I were to run a promotion for all my loyalty customers who haven't shopped with me in a particular date range, I think this number would increase. So this is a very important report, tender collection by store. Okay, then there are quite a few inventory related reports. I'll pick up the important ones. So the way I have my sales ledger, I also have my inventory ledger. So I pick up a date range, October 1st to today, for this particular store. Okay, and I'm not picking up, let's say I pick up a product group also. Let's say my product group being apparel. So this becomes my item ledger. Let it come up on the screen. This will be my item ledger for a particular date range, for a particular retail store, either for an individual product or a product group. Well, that's what I call it the Murphy's Law. It takes a while, bear with me. But what it will show you is the entire transaction history of sorts as to what really happened for all items under the apparel product group in a given date range. So how many were sold, how many were good receipt, how many were refunded, all that information would come here. Sorry, this kind of died, I guess. This is dead. So on that, I think I'll open the forum for any questions if there are any. Okay, so let's start from the top while my colleague Vish has been answering the questions. Okay, we talked about the feedback, a question by Jim. Jim wants to know, I think Jim has already left. Okay, for the shelf label printing, can you print these via mobile point of sale? If so, mobile press can support mobile printers. You really would not like to print from a mobile point of sale. What you can however do is from the mobile emulator from my handheld device, you should be able to be able to do that. Okay. Then I have a question from Robin. Is it possible to sort the report, uh, let's say by description? No, I did not really understand the question as to sort the report by description. You mean the data? Did you mean the data uh, within the report? I don't know. Um, Robin says, I see in the demo that it is sorting by the first column, which is the product ID. What if the user wants to have it sort by A to Z from the sales amount list? Well, the report will have to be kind of customized, and you would be able to do that yourself. It's not very difficult. You open the report in the report designer and change the sort order. So this was the report that took a while to come up, but this is my, uh, if the report is called inventory audit, but essentially is my item ledger. So this item 100102, okay, that's how it, in this particular store, these were the transactions. It started with an opening balance, sales transaction, somewhere at a good receipt PO, okay, and we did a good receipt stock transfer, etc. So, and it keeps track of, so this is my ledger of sorts for a particular item ledger report. Again, utilized as the report says for audit purposes. Okay. Uh, and then you have others, for example, coupons related to gift certificate and coupons. And then finally, we have the dashboards where we talk about, let's say, I want to see my sales top performers. If I want to see my sales top performers, I will set a date range for which I want to see my top performers. And my top performers could be, let me just set up the date range. Let's say from date range October 1st. So from that date range, my top performers, which are my top performer stores, which are my top performing locations, top performing product groups, top performing customer groups, and top performing customer. I can get this information from this particular report. And similarly, I have other reports, other dashboards as well. For example, sales trends is if I want to see. It's actually rather very slow today. Let me see if I have any other questions that needs to be answered. Just 1 minute. Lister wants to know, it's a very pertinent question. Does the demo come with the option to link with other ERPs like Sage? Yes. In fact, we have a Sage 300 integration. One we will, in a subsequent session, only for Sage partners, will try and demonstrate the entire application, how it integrates with Sage 300. So yes, short answer, yes, it is already integrated with Sage 300. So I think my application's almost done here. It's more exhausted than what I thought it would be. So I think that's largely it. I mean, I've covered quite a few, but I've still left a lot to be covered. Okay, for example, I did not talk about licensing at all. I did not talk about the scheduler, one that basically runs the campaign. I'll show you very briefly, but I will certainly cover it up again. In my administration section, somewhere I define an email and SMS template, okay, which essentially is my an HTML kind of thing, HTML document that I define, which I want to be sent through the scheduler to a specific set of customers. So this is an HTML document that I design, okay, copy paste it here, and then I go to the schedule manager. In the schedule manager, I specify that this campaign has to be run hourly, This is the name of the campaign that has to run. Okay, and this is the subject, and that's how it'll start sending. Provided I have set up my SMTP appropriately, it'll start sending emails to the way I showed you earlier. Okay, so that's for now. That's largely it. Okay, uh, I would sincerely request you to be present for all the 5 sessions. It's important for all of us. There's, as I said, there is an investment from both sides. Okay, more from your side than ours, I would say. Okay, but I certainly would like you to be present so that we are start the sales engine in your setup. So, with that said, I think I'll close the session for today, and we'll meet tomorrow at the same time. And when we meet tomorrow, the agenda, very briefly, let me just. I would presume that all those people who haven't been able to download and install the demo stack would have already done that by then. This, for example, I did not cover today at all. Stock management handheld devices. We'll cover this in our subsequent sessions. Tomorrow we talk about the whole setup around enterprise data, retail profile, stores, price list, till setup and end of day. So with that note, and if you do not have any questions right now, I'll sign out, and with the promise that we meet again tomorrow. Please be present tomorrow. Peter says thank you. Thank you, David. David says thank you. Thank you very much, my friend. And yes, Pana says, can you share the presentation? Yes, we would. So before you guys leave, there would be I think a poll at the end, if I'm not wrong.